on, people? Happy Tuesday. I had jumped on here earlier and did a live, and I'm pretty much, I reran it, and there was some technical difficulties. So I figured I'd jump back in here and try this again while I'm running my errands. What's going on, Olivia? I'll take you guys with me. But pretty much what I did in my live earlier was in reference to saying that men and women need to stop lying and that the conversations behind relationships need to change. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this broadcast while I run a couple of my errands. Relationships are not the issue. Marriage, dating, whatever you want to classify it, title, whichever, that is not the issue in my opinion. The issue in my opinion is that people are still trying to do relationships the same way they've always been done. People are trying to live in 2023, but operate with male and female like it's 1915, 1925. And I see that to be an issue. I see that to be the clash on why the conversations need to change. What's going on, Sean? If we're going to do this thing called relationships, people need to just be honest. Men need to tell women what they really want. Women need to tell men what they really want. Because I think the problem is people are falsely representing what you're going to get by being with that person. Men thinking they're going to get some chick who ain't going to have no attitude. Move your black self to Colombia. I'm working on it, sir. Working on it. I'm sure it's better over there. But besides that, men need to stop acting like women are these wholesome creatures who have our best interest at heart, that they're never going to get mad, that they're never going to shoot they shot at you crazy. What's going on, Fantasy? I actually brought you up in my broadcast earlier. The whole Tyler Perry situation. You really had some energy for that. But anyway, relationship conversations need to change. That is the point of my broadcast today. It is not the fact that relationships are broken. It's not the fact that marriage is broken. It's the fact that people are in 2023 trying to act like what was the social norm is still the social norm. That's the problem. If you're not going to be honest with who that person is going to deal with, women, you need to tell these men, I got a bad attitude mid-month. I don't like Wednesdays. Men, you need to tell women, you know what? I don't wipe my butt that great, or I don't like to wash my own dishes, or what the heck ever the petty issues are that I hear a lot of people on these spaces talk about. And I'm trying to figure out, if you're going to be with the person, be honest. Tell them straight up, what is it going to be? Because why is it that people don't think you can actually create the rules in your relationship? You can do relationships whatever way you want. But the problem is that people like to front. People like to present to others, this is how I'm really living. Like people out here who be like struggling and really, really broke for real. But then they'll get online standing next to a car that's not theirs at a Target parking lot and talking about, winning or, look at my glow up or whatever it may be. Instead of people just keeping it real and being honest. And I think that's the problem with relationships now. I think that more people are so concerned with what it looked like instead of actually making it what it is. If we can have individuals meet on the mutual grounds of being honest, like a woman sitting down with a man and saying, look, I have a past. I wasn't necessarily the woman I am today, but this is who I'm trying to be tomorrow and next year and year after that. And, if you're willing to rock with me, let's do that, whichever. Vice versa. A man saying, you know what, I'm not rich, and not fluffing it, people, not fluffing it, being honest. Because see, the problem is that people are entering into a relationship under false pretenses. People are entering into relationships from an optimistic standpoint. And to me, that just doesn't make sense. The reality is everybody done had a bad relationship. Or most people have had a bad relationship. Most people have experienced lying, cheating, stealing, being inconsiderate, being disrespected, or whatever, right? So at what point do adults grow to the understanding that, you know what? I'm just going to keep it real. And see, I think that's the issue. Relationships are not the issue. Everybody's version of keeping it real is different. See, everybody's version of keeping it real is I'll tell them what they need to know. I'll tell them what they can't verify. I'll tell them what I want them to know, but I'm not going to keep it honest. I'm not going to keep it a bean. What I like to do in my relationships when I'm dating is I always took the premise that I'm going to be me regardless. But I also took this premise, and that doesn't mean you can't go into the next relationship with optimism and communication. Explain. What do you mean? That doesn't mean, or does it? That doesn't mean you can't go into the relationship with optimism and communication. Well, I think that you can be optimistic. What I'm saying is that I don't believe people are being truly honest. I don't think communication is happening the way people are trying to make it seem like they're happening. They think they're talking, but they're not being honest. When you're dealing with a person, you're going to deal with the good, the bad, the ugly. That's the reality. And I firmly believe that the reason why most people are breaking up or having these issues when it comes to the relationship is because they're caught off guard by the very characteristic of that person that they do not like. Why do you think so? Why don't you think so? I think I'm confused. I don't think I understand what you're asking me. What I'm saying, Fantasy, is that if you're entering into a relationship with a person, how would you be able to tell people it works if we don't do it? How would you be able to tell people it works if we don't do it? I think it works if you're honest. I think it works if you're keeping it real. The reason why people run background checks on you at the job is because they don't believe what you say. And I think with humans, because people don't have the ability, well, most people don't have the ability to run and verify your actual authenticity, you can front who you are. You can, as they say, present your representative. I'm saying you seem to not believe we are communicating honestly with our partners. No, I don't. I don't believe that to be true. And that's why I said moments ago, I think everybody's version of the truth is different. I think people are telling people, or am I misreading you? I think I think I understand you now. I don't believe people are being honest. I really don't. I don't believe they're being honest because why would you be shocked by somebody's behavior? Why would you be shocked by the fact that they are exemplifying human-like ability? On my broadcast earlier, which didn't, record correctly, I had said that no one should be shocked by humans doing human-like stuff. Nobody should be shocked that people are being people. People lie, people cheat, people steal. People are dishonest. People are inconsiderate. People are gluttonous. People are immature. This is humans. So if you're going to be in a relationship with a human, you should expect or, assume and predict that you're probably going to encounter one, if not a few of these characteristics at some point in time. So dating and being in a relationship from an optimistic standpoint is childlike to some degree, and it's not real. And I'm saying that people think they're being honest, but I don't think they're really being honest. What kind of conversation are you having with a person when this behavior shouldn't shock you if you know your partner's patterns? People are creatures of habit. Change in habit causes alarm. Well, I think you're partially correct, but I don't believe most people are that observant. I don't believe most people actually see people for who they are. I think most people see people for who they want them to be. I also think most people have an ego, and they believe that them being in their life is going to make the difference. Women are very notorious for this. Men, yes, I don't know if it's as often, but I definitely know women for sure assume that the behavior of this man is going to change because they're in his life. And that's just not how it works. I like to look at people from when I meet you. What you have done up to this point usually tells me what type of person you are. Meaning, if you are holding down a job, how long you had that job? If you're in shape, how long have you been going to the gym, eating right, so on and so forth. Certain disciplines are existent in a person regardless of if they're in a relationship or not. Actually, yeah, I hear people say that too. Yeah. And the problem, I believe, is that people want a version of a person that I don't think in reality exists in most people. Actually, yeah. I think you have to look at people in the ugly that is their characteristic or possible characteristics, because people are not always going to be nice, considerate, respectful, loving, patient. They're not going to be that. In a relationship is going to require you to be able to exist in that commitment or whatever you make to that person through the good, the bad, and the ugly. The problem is people want to throw the whole person away when that person shows them ugly characteristics or ugly behavior. No one now wants to sign up for the demise of the individual or the negative of the individual. And I would say that that's not realistic. When you have a car, it's going to break down. You're going to have to get maintenance on it. At some point, you may have an accident. You don't tend to get rid of the things that you value and you like just because you got to take it to the shop and get a couple repairs done. People are no different. They should be that majority of the time. Well, what sparked this conversation was that I was listening to Rollo Tomasi's broadcast, and he had, I think the dude's name is James Sexton on there. They were talking about prenuptial agreements. And what even sparked it was the whole Tyler Perry situation on how if they are negative all the time, it causes you to begin to think negatively about things. Okay, fair. If they're negative all the time, then I would ask, what kind of conversations and inquiring were you doing about this person's perception when you were getting to know them in the vetting process? Because negativity don't just spring upon you. If a person has negative thought patterns, that tends to show itself consistently. Are you not paying attention? Are you asking the right questions? Are you observing them in multiple situations and environments? Because a person can't fake being who they are for a long period of time. That's just, most people are not professional actors in that sense. It's going to showcase itself. It's going to come out. But what sparked and motivated this broadcast, and even the one I did earlier, was something along the lines of what's going on, Blueprint, with the whole Tyler Perry situation. I know you had some energy about that, particularly. What's going on, Jazz? In saying that why women, specifically, women in our community, have to settle for less. And I found that to be interesting, because it was almost like, wow, like we're still dealing with the insecurities that most of the women in our community have by assuming that they're getting less, which not seeing in the fact that, one, he was talking to women who actually make a lot of money. Two, if you actually can acquire a man, that's valuable. But now it's not enough to have a man. Now you need a man that actually has a substantial paycheck or a salary that you can deem worthy, that I guess you qualify for, being the basic human that you are, which is disturbing on a lot of levels. But what I'm still trying to figure out is, people are saying relationships are the issue. Marriage is the issue. And I'm saying, how so? Because marriage is not an entity in itself that operates autonomously. Marriage is a choice. Marriage is a commitment. It's a relationship choice that two people decide to enter into under, I believe, the belief that they're going to work together, do life together, produce children, businesses, what the heck ever, together. And I think the problem is not so much the marriage. I think the problem is that people are not talking honestly. Are you telling the person that is getting in a relationship with you how selfish you can be? Are you telling the person that getting in a relationship with you how mean you can be? Are you telling the person that is trying to pursue you that sometimes you want to be left the F alone? Women are not supposed to be working to provide the majority of the bills. Okay, I'm going to challenge that. Who told you that? Why are women not supposed to be working to provide the majority of the bills if the women that he was specifically talking to are women that are going out to gain financial success in the world? What is the point of acquiring resources at the highest level if not to provide? What's the point? And that's why I'm saying I'm challenging the perspective, because we're still doing relationships like it's early 1900th century, like it's 1920. It's not. It's 2023. You got women now who think that an average body count is 20. I would argue that's crazy, but Anyway, that's societal standard and norms. But societal standard and norms used to be that a woman was a virgin. Societal standard and norms used to be that women didn't talk with negative vernacular, that they didn't walk around with piercings and tattoos, that you would never see a woman have a baby before marriage. That used to be societal norms. So are we saying that we only honor the financial societal norms? Is that what we're saying? She is supposed to leave the workplace to care for her kids. Who told you that? Why is how to, and that I'm so glad you're commenting on this, Fantasy. Like, if you're free, I can bring you up. We can chat about it, because I'm like confused. How are we only honoring it? It's like we're cherry picking what we want from what is most emotionally, I believe, desirable from the mid-century, but we're not honoring it all the way across the board. They need us more than ever now. I don't disagree that women should be active in the role of rearing their children, but I do believe that, again, keeping it just on what I said, what is the point of earning a substantial salary if you're not looking to provide? That's past standards. Women not providing is still current standards we held from the past. Okay, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that you're cherry picking. You're taking what used to be our societal norms, but then combining them with what, like, simultaneously wanting us to move to modern standard in time. Like, which one is it? You can't be upset that society sees the importance of women facing a man that can retire her. I'm not upset. No, I don't want that to be misconstrued. I'm not upset at all. I am challenging the perspective. See, I had this discussion with a young lady a few weeks ago, and I argued that your earning potential is because of the system. It is not male or female. It is a proven fact that anybody that applies themselves to their talent or disciplines on a long period of time and just so happens to strike their stride of success, this is not male or female. So why is it that in 2023, we can say you as women can date who you want, sleep with who you want to, tattoo your body, have babies, have hot girl summer. Oh, but when it comes to the finances, we men, we still have to hold that down in its entirety. That's where we're going to stop you guys' progression and growth. And I'm saying we need to challenge that, because it's not a money thing. It's a how do we want our relationship to work? Me and you, whoever me and you may be. If she makes the money, okay. If he makes the money, okay. Like, why are we still borrowing from what was and then making it seem like that's what we have to marry to? I don't get it. Because babies have set plenty of power women. Because babies have set plenty of power women down. Explain that. I don't understand how babies have, I'm assuming you said slowed plenty of women down. How have babies slowed women down? Please explain. But what I'm saying, and that's the narrative I'm challenging. If you're going to move forward in the progression of society, then I would say that men and women both need to challenge societal norms for their own individual relationships. Why are we taking what society says is common in our relationship, me and you, our household, and borrowing it and saying this is what we're going to do? Instead of deciding, me and you, what do we believe? Having kids have literally taken more power from women from the office than left them there. I think you're typing fast or something. Having kids have literally taken more power, I believe, from women than the office that left them there. I still don't believe in how kids are taking power from women, because kids are not things that a woman produces by herself. Kids are something that the man and the woman produces together, which again is the standard. And I would assume that if you want to have children, you probably want to do this under the confines of having a man, having a woman who are operating as a unit. I would think that would work, or at least, attempt to work. Let me see. More and more women are leaving the office because they have kids they have to keep safe. Okay. Are they leaving it? Are they leaving the office single? Did they plan to operate in this way? I guess I don't understand. That's where I'm not getting it. The kids Kids make things more difficult. That's not my argument. It's dangerous out there. Kids need parents available. I agree. So, okay, let's take that premise. If we're gonna create this hypothetical, and we're saying that a woman who's in a high earner, which is who Tyler Perry was talking about, and she's making, let's give her a handsome salary. Let's say she's making $500,000 a year. Are you telling me that this woman bringing in that amount of money cannot walk away from her job for 2 years, 3 years after putting aside some functional earnings to be able to take care of the children that she's had? I'm talking about married women. Dangerous out here. No married women. Married women, okay. If she's married, then she's already in a situation where she should be being supported by the man she married, correct? They should have had planned how they're going to do this successfully, correct? One of the arguments I've had is that I don't understand how, if you got a woman and a man who's married, let's just say they meet when they're about 22, 23, 24, 25, and they know they want to have kids. What would be wrong with taking his $50,000 a year, your $30,000 a year, and then having you two figure out how to live off his income for 3 to 5 years and save all of her income, which would give you guys a retirement plan to raise your kids? So wouldn't you choose someone to date that already meets the requirement? Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm simply saying that in the process of getting to know each other, I don't believe that people are being forthcoming. I don't believe they're being really honest, especially women. I think a lot of women want to give the illusion that they're this type of woman, and they may be that type of woman at that moment, meaning that she went through certain things. She progressed past certain behaviors. But what about what was? See, what I respect about men, especially ex-gangsters and people who used to do some, things in the street, is that they don't tend to lie about them being this guy that now. They tend to tell you like, yo, I used to be out here doing some things. I used to knock over heads and, I was that dude. They're honest. Women don't seem to be honest the same way. And I'm trying to figure out why. So, and that's what I'm arguing, is that where is the honesty? If we're going to do it in 2023 and moving forward, because being with someone now is very different than being with somebody back in the day. Back in the day, you didn't have to deal with all this stuff. Back in the day, you didn't have to deal with high body count. You didn't have to deal with, promiscuity at a high level. You didn't have to deal with people and their, recreational drugs at this level. Very, very different. So what I'm saying is that if we're more damaged now and more people know this, why are we still looking for pure people, unscathed people? They lie too. They just as honest as a born again virgin. Who's they? Who are we talking about as a born again virgin? And I hate that. And that's what I'm saying. When are we going to, as people, take a different approach? Because the way that it's being done is not working. People are breaking up now because they are being exposed to the individual, to the true individual, after a series of time. She knew she didn't want to be a mom. Why'd you play? He knew that he didn't want to be a provider. Why did he lie? Why can't two individuals meet each other and lay it all out on the table honestly, brutally honestly? This is what I'm looking to get. I'm at the point in my life that I want a woman to be here on a regular basis, but every now and then I may want to have some fun with somebody else. Are you cool with that? Vice versa, if that's her appetite. Or the fact that she's like, sometimes I just want to go buy a Gucci bag. I may not want to pay my car note. Like whatever it may be. And I want to be able to splurge and do that. What you think? And have honest conversations. Because this stuff comes out anyway. Because people do not feel comfortable with someone they love hurting their feelings. But you're gonna hurt their feelings if the behavior that you're going to exemplify 9 times out of 10 is not gonna be honest or integral. So what's the difference? I have been told my delivery is too direct my whole life. I've been on panels with you. I don't personally believe that your delivery is too direct. I've yet to witness you be so visceral in your delivery to where you're being disrespectful and cursing people out or anything. You're direct. Being direct is not an issue. Yeah, I agree. That doesn't matter. I don't see that. Me personally, I don't see that. I think being direct is better. And that's what, again, I'm challenging. Why are we still having this, what I call like the corporate illusion? See, what I've learned about traveling abroad is that Americans have a language. We like to save people's feelings in front of each other and talk mess behind your back. Where there's a lot of places in the world, like Aussies, for example, Aussies are very direct. British people are usually very direct. They don't pull no punches. You know how they feel about you, straight up. So I'm saying, since we're in that type of culture now, where people are gonna be effed up, why not just be that up front? Be honest up front. Yeah, I agree. Society says what is acceptable. We dictate society. That's what I'm challenging. The people of society dictate society. Society is not a system per se. We are the ones as people who socially agree what is acceptable. So I'm saying that if we're going to have any success in this relationship space, why not approach it different? I seen a post earlier on Instagram with a guy, it was a little comedic one, and he's pulled up to this date, and the highlight was, or the tagline was, if first dates were like this. And he pulled up and the girl jumped in the car and he was like, oh, why'd you wear that? Like, that's not how you dress on a date. And then she was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then he was like, oh, so are you gonna, give me some ass later? And then she was like, oh no, I don't do that on the first date. And he was like, oh, okay, let me pull you over right here. And he dropped her off because his approach was direct. It's like, yo, you know what it is? I'm trying to get there. And that's what I'm saying. If men were that honest and women were that honest, I'm really just trying to get some dude to fund my lifestyle. I want to be able to live off of your resources and not have to ever worry about spending my own money, whatever it may be. That's what I think needs to change. That's what I believe needs to be different, because what we're doing is not working. People are surprised by people's behavior once they get in a relationship, acting like, oh, I can't believe they did this, or I can't believe they did that. And I'm like, well, what did they do? And I've yet to hear somebody talk about their identity being stolen. I've yet to hear somebody talk about, I'm trying to think what would be like obscenely disrespectful. I've yet to hear somebody talk about, oh, shoot, they stole my children, like literally somebody else's children. You don't tend to hear that stuff. What you tend to hear is that somebody lied, somebody cheated, somebody misrepresented themselves as a productive person and they really weren't. Somebody was in debt and they did not have the economic health that they, portrayed or whatever it may be. And that's what I'm saying. If we're gonna do relationships, I believe that at this point, we should start to be more honest with what it is we're really bringing, instead of trying to trick people into being in a relationship with you under a false pretense, under a false illusion that they're getting a different type of individual. The challenge I can tell you I've had with some women is that I am so honest. I tell them what I'm not going to do. I tell them what I stand for. And a lot of times what I found is that they're so used to the lie that when they meet a man that's just direct and honest, like, look, no, I'm not. I don't care. Your feelings don't matter, sweetie. Like, they don't matter. And they're like, what do you mean your feelings don't matter? I'm like, your feelings don't matter. Your feelings don't matter to anyone but you. Like, if you're going to be in a relationship with me and you're going to try to make me care about your feelings as significantly as you care about your feelings, we're going to have a problem, because I'm never going to be able to connect to you emotionally the way you would like me to, in that sense. No, your feelings are your feelings. Now I'm here to hear about them. I'm here to help aid or assist in some level, way, shape, or form, but I'm not ultimately going to care about your feelings. And what I mean when I tell them that is that when I'm making my choices in life, I'm not thinking about if I'm going to do this or not do this because this may particularly make her feel this way. And the reason why I operate that way is because I believe that my heart and my standard of living is already geared towards not causing offense or making choices that is going to directly affect you negatively, intentionally. Now, that does not mean that something I do may not offend you. We could talk about it, right? We can have a conversation and figure out like, well, what did I do, or how did you get offended, or what was the intent? And I think that's mature. I think that's a real relationship. I think that's what makes it different, is because, see, I'm not convincing you or trying to convince you that I'm here to ultimately not make you mad or not offend you in that sense. I'm in a relationship, but I'm not looking to wake up and hurt your feelings. If you get your feelings hurt, why? If something I did make you feel respected, heard, considered, whatever, let's talk about that. But I am very clear on letting them know your feelings don't matter to no one but you. Like, they matter to you. And if you want them to matter to me in the way that you believe they should matter, you're probably going to lose that battle. Let's figure out how we can talk about things and get on the same page. But you as a woman trying to make me as a man care about your feelings, truly care about your feelings, I think that's a zero-sum game, me, honestly. And I believe also that a lot of people in a single state do not survey their life, survey their habits, survey their true nature, and operate in a way that they, I guess, would just be considered integral. Your choices and your decisions, you're living your life in a way that is always open for, what's the word? What are those things they used to do when I was a chef? An audit. The state can come in and audit you. The way I used to run my kitchens, the way I used to run, my sites, was that we operated like we could be audited every day. So when the state would show up, when the state would show up, when the food inspector would show up, it wasn't a panic. We didn't scramble. My staff didn't have to, be bent out of shape or start being nervous, because we were operating at a level of being able to be audited or scrutinized on a daily basis. We operated at the standard, most of the time above the standard, to where we were in compliance. And that's what I'm saying. If you are living your life outside of compliance as an individual, that's cool. Let the person that you're pursuing know that. That way, they're not shocked, hit over the head, met with this, surprise, or this, I don't know, like just this, this disappointment per se, because you're gonna deal with something dealing with people. But I'll end it on that note. Thank you guys for who tuned in. Thanks, Fantasy, for joining in. I'm gonna have to get you on a live or something so we can pull this apart, because I'm still not understanding why you were so offended by what Mr. Tyler Perry said. But anyway, y'all have a good one. Happy Tuesday. Until next time, be easy.